Howdy do. I'm Karen Adamski with ShamaMama.com, and today I would like to share with you the abundance of color that you have right at your fingertips that you may not always give thought to. Today I'd like to introduce you to the color wheel. This is a real basic lesson in color, but it's also a deep lesson in color. This may bring you back to the days of elementary school, but that's a good thing, right? Getting back to those simple, beautiful things that we first learned in our lives and then sometimes don't always give thought to. Going back to those things is really, really important. And as an artist, understanding color and understanding the spectrum of color is really important. Once you get a feel for color and how different colors work together, you can bring that knowledge into your painting practice and really add some pop and interest and whimsy to your art. This is a fun and a simple lesson, and I invite you to join me and create along with me as we paint the rainbow. Let me show you how easy it is. We're going to start with the circle and then 3 colors. It's as simple as that. That's the root of it all. So first step, we're going to put a couple circles down. I'm going to use this dinner plate. And I'm using this as my rough guide just for my first circle. Fill this in. Doesn't have to be perfect here. Then we're going to put another circle in here, and rather than going to find another dinner plate or another bowl or something, I'm just going to use the curvature of my wrist, this kind of motion, and start putting in a circle within this circle, just roughly. If it's not perfect, that's fine. Find an angle that is comfortable for you, and you can stick with that angle by simply turning your canvas. Yay, step 1. All right, next what we want to do is bring in our ruler, and we want to chop this up into 12 pieces ultimately. So we're going to start by chopping the circle in half. Okay, and then from here we're going to make an X because we're going to make 6 even pieces at this point. So you want to kind of use your eye and guesstimate. We want to make these pieces as even as we can. But it doesn't have to be perfect. Okay, now these 6 pieces, we're going to turn that into 12 pieces. All right, it's not perfect, but it doesn't have to be. This is just a rough outline. All right, it's time to start mixing colors. And this is really where we start to realize the abundance of the colors and tones that are out there for us. We're going to start today with red and blue and yellow. Red, blue, and yellow are our primary colors. So we're going to start with red. We're going to start in one of the outer boxes. Start with this outer box of the wheel. And this is what red looks like right out of the bottle or right out of the tube. And my red might look different than your red. It really depends on which paints you're using, what grade of paints you're using. I'm currently using student grade paints, and these are fairly transparent, but they were certainly perfect for this lesson. All right, so there's red right out of the bottle. In between each of your colors, you want to make sure that you are really rinsing your brush well. So rinse and have a rag handy to wipe the rest of that paint out. So just having the rinse and the wipe, you're going to have nice clean colors because we don't want our colors bleeding into one another here. So we're going to go 1, 2, 3 spaces in between. And this is cobalt blue, right out of the bottle. Beautiful color, very royal color. Getting that blue color, you know, hundreds of years ago was very, very, very difficult. And we were getting our colors from natural pigments, and often you could get that brilliant blue from the stone lapis. But that was hard to get, so it was considered 1, 2, 3. Going to our third thing here. It was considered a color of royalty. You knew you were fancy schmancy if you were able to wear or incorporate blue tones. And sunny yellow, isn't that beautiful? Happy color. So this blue and this yellow and this red, these are our primary colors. So what we're going to do next is mix our primary colors to create our secondary colors. All right? So I'm going to start by mixing yellow and red. And for this, I'm going to want to put quite a bit of yellow, but just a teeny tiny dab of red because red is a very strong color and yellow is much weaker. So you can see here, I had to use way more yellow in that than I did red. And what this gives us is a nice orange peachy color. So that's not really the orange that you would typically get right out of the box. It's more of a peach, but that's what you get. And that's why having you know, bottles of paint of different colors, like if this is not the orange you're looking for and getting that is difficult, that's why it's so handy to have all those different shades of orange available to us nowadays. It didn't used to be like that. But what if you couldn't get those bottles of orange? You could figure out how to make your own orange. All right, now let's move over to mixing yellow and blue. Again, yellow is the weaker color here, blue is a little bit there. Yellow and blue make green. All right, there's a nice green there. And now for blue and red. Now these are two very strong colors. Red is the stronger of the two. But they're two nice dark colors, so it doesn't take much of either one of them to, you know, create this beautiful dark purple. So here we have our primary colors, our red, our yellow, and our blue. And then we have our secondary colors that come from our primary colors. Purple, merge those two for purple, makes green, makes orange. Everybody's happy. All right, so now we're gonna add a little bit of white to our colors here. And white is also known as tone. So bringing tone into your colors is just adding different shades of color. And the way we do that is by mixing. So mixing the white into our color. So I'm going to start with red. Add a little bit of white. I'm going to mix this right here into this inner circle of the red slice of pie, because this shows me what happens when I add just a little bit of white to this red. You get this kind of fun bubblegum pink almost. Isn't that neato? All right, and then if you add a little bit more white to that bubblegum pink that we've got. So when I say that there are an abundance of colors available to you, I mean there really are. Because you could make this different, you know, tones of pink or red going on here. Almost endless. All the different combinations of how much red, how much white. And depending on which kind of red you start with. So again, we want to keep nice clean brushes here. I'm going to move over to my yellow. So I'm going to go with the primaries first. So adding white to my yellow. One of my favorite things to do is mix white and yellow when I'm painting, because it just makes this nice, just really beautiful, sunny, happy color. Just watching the colors mix soothes anxiety. And this is definitely, you know, playing with color is a meditative practice. All right, now the other primary color, blue. Very good. So we have our blue. We're going to add a little bit of white. Beautiful sky blue color here. I went too far. I got ahead of myself. Isn't that just the story of my life? If this were pie or slices of cake, I would be doing the same thing. Beautiful blue. I love those blues. All right, and again, adding a little more white. Nice. Let's continue on with our secondary colors. Same thing, just adding that white. All right, so now we get to work with tertiary colors. Tertiary colors come into play when we mix a primary with a secondary. So let's start with that. Let's go ahead and start with red again. We'll start with our red and our orange. So we're gonna mix our red and our orange together. A smidge of that red into our orange, because again, that red is a very dominant color. If colors had voices, Red would be a loud voice. This is a tertiary color. Now when we are working with tertiary colors, they become hyphenated. So this now is called orange red or red orange. It's a color that has a hyphen in the middle. Tertiary colors are hyphenated colors, typically. So whether this is red orange or orange red, that's kind of up to you. While we're at it here, while we've got this mixed, I'm going to bring in the white for that color. So we're going to put our tones of this tertiary down. All right, let's move to this hyphenated tertiary color. What's it called? Very good. Orange yellow, or yellow orange. It's up to you. So we're going to find our secondary color that we were using here, that orange, and go in here. We're going to bring in some more yellow, which I need to get more of. Yellow's voice is much quieter than red's voice, but they're both just as important. You can't get all these other colors if you don't have blue and red and yellow, our primaries. These tertiaries would not be happening if we didn't have the primaries. All right, let's see what happens here. Well, it's still pretty orange. I'm going to add some yellow to it. And sometimes it's hard to... This is where it gets fun, because okay, we have our color wheel. And with those three colors, we come up with this beautiful color wheel by adding white to the primary colors, the secondary colors, the tertiary colors. You're creating lots of different tones of those colors. So I encourage you to have fun with this and continue to play around with this color theory, this color science. Mix those colors and see what kinds of recipes you can come up with. Becoming comfortable in terms of playing with color is going to really enable you to dive in and have that confidence on the canvas when you're painting. So keep creating those rainbows. Namaste, my friend.